These are the best hunters in solo leveling Arise. Let's talk about it. What's up YouTube, NoGoodEman coming to you today with a hunter tier list. So guys, now that the new year is started, I think there's no better time to bring to you the 2025 solo leveling Arise tier list. These are all the best hunters in solo leveling Arise, the ones that you need, the ones that you don't need, and everything in between. But before we talk a single hunter, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or an upload. Now, let's go ahead and get it started, starting with the average category. These are really the average characters in solo leveling Arise that honestly don't have too much time to shine as of late. Now, of course, this could always change in the near future, but as of right now, the first one that I do want to talk about is JIWOO. Now, JIWOO honestly isn't a terrible character, but in this day and age right now, she currently is not the best. And as a breaker unit, comparing her to other breaker units, guys, it is clear to see that she has definitely lost her limelight, especially with the newer characters releasing. Think Harper, think GUNHEE. Saw honestly is far from a good unit. Comparatively speaking, I do like the reset cooldown effects in her kit, but honestly guys, she has been feed thrown, and honestly she's not even in the top 3 breakers. From there, another breaker that we got to talk about is definitely going to be the boy BAEK YOONHO. Now hear me out, and I know some of you guys might comment because I've seen BAEK being used in Guild Boss as of recent. While I must admit BAEK YOONHO does have a counterpart that is in a different tier, this version of BAEK YOONHO does not get the job done. Moving on to our next hunter, we're talking DONGSOO, another unfortunate, disappointing S rank. Now here's what I'll say about DONGSOO, the merciless skill and everything in between. I know DONGSOO even got a buff as of recent, but still guys, he is just too average, too lackluster, and honestly, for endgame players, we're not looking towards him in any which way. Unless you guys have him maxed out and he's your only unit maxed out, I don't see a reason to argue or even suggest DONGSOO's usage. That is going to be all for our D rank rankings. Now let's move on to the C rank category. This definitely won't garner any favors for me in the comments section, but starting off with our C rank is going to be the lovely lady BORA. Now I know it's a lot of you guys are thinking, what the heck, why is BORA only at the C ranking, especially with that charm effect? Yes, charm is one of the best skills in the game that you do want to stack as a debuff in any mode that you can, whether it's Guild Boss, whether it's Power of Destruction, everything in between, guys. But BORA is more known for her charm effect than the actual unit, the actual character, the actual kit itself. BORA as a character is a mage, and with mages, they're honestly not too crazy unless you're talking about a specific witch, and we'll get to that witch a little bit later. But guys, if you notice, the C category could be useful, and she's always going to be useful as a support, but as a hunter, we're not using her, not looking at her a little bit too much. Moving on, the next hunter that we're going to throw in this category is going to be the boy LAURENT. Now honestly, I'm a big LAURENT fan. He was my first SSR and I did want to put him higher, but LAURENT, honestly, he's just not too much, especially as a ranger unit. He honestly does have very good mobility with his basic skill 1s, very good mobility, very nice range, and he does decent amount of breaks in every one of his skills, but honestly, he's not a top DPS, he's not a top breaker, he's not a top ultimate character. He's just really in there, he's just around, right? And honestly, you could definitely argue LAURENT being in the D rank average category, but I only said he could be useful due to his mobility. Definitely, if you have a struggle with extreme evading, LAURENT is definitely a good substitute character for that. Moving on, we're gonna throw in the boy CHOI. Now hear me out here. CHOI JONG-IN, honestly, he's not what he needs to be. Honestly, you could say that the C category is for crit, right? But CHOI JONG-IN right now, he just lacks a lot as a character, as a unit. I honestly am very disappointed with what the devs have done, but I do think that when the fire meta is relevant, CHOI JONG-IN is gonna get a big buff that's gonna get him from here all the way to here. Now that's gonna be a hot take for now, but honestly, just wait and see what Netmarble does and then come back to this video and say I was right. But CHOI JONG-IN, honestly, the best thing and the thing that makes him in the could be useful category itself is the additional defense decrease that can stack with a Sunjinu defense decrease, or that can stack with an iron defense decrease. Very good and useful for things like Power of Destruction and Guild Boss and everything alike. So that's why he's in this tier. And then our final hunter in this category is going to be the hunter GINA. Now, A lot of you guys probably didn't even draw for GINA. A lot of you guys probably don't have GINA, and that's a good thing. I'm not gonna lie, right now the fire meta is very, very weak. You're gonna see a lot of fire characters relatively towards the bottom of the rankings, but guys, I promise you, once eventually the fire meta is relevant, the fire meta hasn't been relevant since the game's released, so definitely next year, this year, whenever it happens, these fire units will be able to jump a tier themselves, maybe even 2 tiers, but right now guys, GINA just could be useful, more so specifically for that gravitational pull she has. She does have the ability to hold a lot of enemies in one place, and that's something you definitely do not want to miss out on. Now that is going to be it for our C rank categories that could be useful characters. Now let's move on to the beneficial characters. B for beneficial, let's get it up. Let's start it off with the Hunter Harper. Now Harper is honestly an insane unit, and definitely you could argue that she is a maxable unit, but guys, I do want to say that my rankings are more so based on accumulative things, but one thing that does keep a very, very good mind of these rankings are how useful can this hunter be with themselves. Now Harper is definitely a great hunter, but Harper's kit is more so only garnered if you have Charlotte, if you have ISLA, right, if you do have the great team parent. But you can get a lot of utility without maxing this unit out, making it a beneficial character that you do not need to max out. Now let's go ahead and continue from this thinking. Let's go ahead and throw in a Hansi Mei in there. Now again, another good unit in the game currently. Hansi Mei definitely added after the AMAMIYA MIREI update, and she definitely saw a very, very good utility to the win team. Now Hansi Mei is a very good healer. She's a healer that does an ability that no one predicted, the ability to stop someone from dying. Yes, she has an immortal effect that can actually halt you guys from dying. It's honestly insane how that works, but apart from that, her entire kit is garnered to the win team. So that's why she's also in the beneficial category, because if you're not garnering your win team, then honestly Hansi Mei might not be the unit from you. And then comparing her to the other support units in the game that are way more versatile, have a lot more range, you'll definitely see why I do say this. Now let's go ahead and talk about a newer character in the game, SHIMIZU AKARI. You guys were definitely wondering when we would throw her in here. Well, here she is, another light support unit recently added into the game. Honestly, it's a bit crazy. SHIMIZU turned out to be a light unit. Her entire kit definitely spells fire support unit, and it's honestly crazy why the devs did this change, but who knows, maybe Essel's gonna be the light support unit, maybe Essel's gonna be the light DPS. We'll see when we see. But guys, for SHIMIZU AKARI, honestly a very, very, very great support unit. A lot of you guys are starting to see what I was saying a few videos ago with SHIMIZU not being a mid character. She's definitely not a mid character. In these rankings, we put her in the beneficial category. Now here's what I'll say, while she does have that stun, while she does increase attack and things of that sort, she is garnered for the light team. So the exact same reasoning I just gave for putting Hansi Mei in the beneficial category, you can literally apply the exact same reason for SHIMIZU AKARI. Again, still a very, very good support unit, and if you do have this unit and the other light team members invested, you won't regret having her. Now let's go ahead and move on. Adding someone else into the beneficial category, we're talking about the Hunter SOOHYUN from the Ajin Guild. You definitely want this unit if you do get her. If you get her, honestly, she is a very, very good fire DPS. I do want to say she's interchangeably or conditionally the best fire DPS, and you'll see why I said conditionally in about 2 characters from now. But definitely guys, she is nothing to glance over. An attack based unit that can deal a lot of damage, and honestly I like her because she has recurring damage going on, whether she summons her little shooters, her little shooter cameras. I'm blanking out on whatever the name is, but SOOHYUN is honestly a crazy unit that you guys definitely want to be having. And then the final unit in our beneficial category is going to be Silvermane BAEK YOONHO. Now here's what I'll say guys, Silvermane BAEK YOONHO, honestly I have never played with this character, but I can definitely tell you that this character has the ability to be an A rank and maybe even scratch the S rank category. Now here's what I'll say with Silvermane BAEK YOONHO, this man is basically a skill-based character. And why do I say that? Well, BAEK YOONHO's damage increase or skill damage increases based off of his lost HP. So in theory, if you have 1 HP with BAEK YOONHO, he's basically playing immortal, but that would be if you could survive off of that 1 HP. So that's why I said he's kind of a skill-based unit. And again, there's not a lot of bosses doing a lot of damage to us in solo leveling unless you're playing things like Proof of the Strong and stuff like that. But if you are dealing with harder bosses, BAEK YOONHO definitely goes from a beneficial to a could max character. Definitely early on, he might be a unit you want to look at for those harder dark bosses, but still, he is a skill-based character. You definitely could max this character out. Look, I haven't played with them, but personally, just reading off the kit, just seeing the various different upgrades that the devs have done to him, he is a very good unit within the game, and definitely the other counterpart to BAEK YOONHO. Silver main version is a very good version. So if regular BAEK is average, silver main definitely has to be above average, and that is going to be it for our beneficial category. Now let's go ahead and move on to our could max or our A rank category. Starting it off, we've got the lovely lady Emma Laurent. In all reality, I didn't want to put Emma Laurent in the A rank category. I just really wanted to put her in the S rank, but I do want to say that you just gotta wait on it. I can't even articulate how much I smell what the devs are cooking within this next few updates, but just wait on it. Emma Laurent will eventually be an S rank character. But guys, for this rankings, she's gonna be in the A rank. And why is she in the A rank? Because Emma Laurent is a 1-of-1 character. Not only can she reset all her skill cooldowns upon breaking an opponent's gauge, and that alone puts her in the A rank, but when she does that, she increases her own damage by 77% for 15 seconds, essentially making Emma Laurent turn from a tank character to a DPS unit. Not only does she get all her skills and power gauge and core gauge all active at 100%, anytime an opponent gets their gauge broken, but she literally gets a DPS switch of her kit. So no other characters like that. That is honestly one of the craziest characters in the game. Now again, the only reason, and really the only reason she's not in the S rank, is because basically that's only when the target does enter a break state. Now, definitely there might be uses for this. There might be other uses for this, right? Think Power Destruction. If Power Destruction's Dragon's break state worked the same way Emma Laurent's kit did, she'd be an S rank for sure. If, let's say, when a guild boss gauge gets broken, like the QTE break gauge, if those break states counted for Emma Laurent's kit, she would be an S rank for sure. And if it does, you guys can definitely comment, let me know, and then hey, we'll throw her in the S rank for the next tier list. But for right now, A rank is the best we could do for her. Emma Laurent is still a very good character. You definitely want to max this out if you could, right? Obviously, she has various different utilities in her other categories, but her A5 is definitely where you want to aim. So I want to say she's a must max. I'm not going to change my mind mid-video. We're still going to throw her in the A ranking. But from there, let's go ahead and grab our next unit. Now, as you can see, we've got some insane monsters left in this lineup. Who do you think is getting next? Let's go ahead and bring the Big Woo, the Big Woo JINCHUL. Woo JINCHUL is our next A rank character, and he's in A rank in solo leveling. So this is honestly very, very fitting. The boy Woo JINCHUL is honestly an insane character. The brawler himself, when he uses dash or extreme evasion, this man has the ability to get a core gauge, to reset his cooldowns, and things in between. It's honestly insane how that works. His weapon allows you to increase the win damage for the entire win team. Honestly, Woo JINCHUL is a very good character, and you could max this unit out. And when you do max this unit out, you definitely benefit so much more, right? That honestly helps him out. That helps his win team out. And if you do build a win team and you use Woo JINCHUL, you won't regret it. This man has stun embedded into his core attack, so you definitely can utilize that on enemies that will work with. Woo JINCHUL is a very good character, so don't sleep on him. Next up, let's bring up the lady CHOI, the dancer herself. Now, depending on if you've watched my ranking shorts when we talked about hunters, this might surprise you because CHOI, I put her in my top 5, right? Now, hear me out. The other facet to this tier list is relevance within the current metas. And CHOI is just not too relevant within the current metas. that she's in the must max category. Now, let's say in the must max category, I really want to spend time and talk about that a little bit more, but let's talk a little bit on CHOI. The dancer herself is honestly a very, very good character with things like brand unrecoverable to her opponent. She is a character that does an insane amount of utility and an insane amount of DPS. Initially, one of the top DPS units in this game, she has fallen from grace in the sense that she no longer holds the throne in DPS, and she no longer holds the throne in her even light category. So with that, CHOI-IN gets the A rank, but you guys could max her out and see a lot of benefits from that. Let's go ahead and grab another character. We're talking ISLA WRIGHT. Now, ISLA WRIGHT is a support unit, definitely in the A ranking. She is a very, very good buffer, and if you guys do choose to get a few more dupes of her, her advancement 3 is very, very good in the sense that it gives you the ability to get the strength, the magician, and the wheel of fortune effect all at once, increasing a user's damage, giving them shield, and then also increasing all team members' critical hit rate and damage. All three of those things, all at advancement 3, is definitely a bang for your buck, making her an instant A rank character. Need I say any more? And that's gonna be it for the A tier, meaning these last 7 hunters all belong in S. These are the strongest hunters in solo leveling Arise. But what is the ranking? Let's talk about it. One of the strongest hunters in the game, Charlotte. Now, Charlotte, when paired with ISLA and HARPER, is definitely why she's in the must max category. If you guys have HARPER and Charlotte, you guys definitely want to max out Charlotte herself. You don't even need necessarily to max out HARPER and ISLA, but you damn sure better max out Charlotte. That way, when her ult hits, when Take This or HARPER We Are One hits, you guys will see an insane amount of DPS. Honestly, one of the most hardest hitting ultimates in the game, if not the hardest hitting ultimate in the game, guys. This unit definitely stands alone in a category by herself. Definitely the strongest dark DPS you will ever see for a long time. But who surpasses her? In this case, we're gonna talk about MEILIN Fisher. MEILIN Fisher is honestly one of the greatest units we've ever come across. She's actually in the rate up draw right now, and you guys definitely want to consider getting her because she is an insane unit that buffs and does so much utility, increasing your attack and defense for your entire team, helping your team members get their power gauges back, an increased power gauge return if she hits bosses or elite monsters, and her advancement 5 is the most insane advancement 5 that you might ever see. When you guys activate her pumped up effect, it increases the user's attack, defense, critical hit rate, core damage, and decreases their damage taken all by 16% for 24 seconds. That is one of the craziest amount of debuffs and buffs you've seen in one kit alone, guys. And she definitely removes shield effects from bosses, which made her super useful in the Vulcan fight for my, a little bit veteran players. If you know, you know, man, the Vulcan WOBL, she definitely got her shine there. So a unit you definitely need to max out if you do get her, MEILIN Fisher. But what's a support unit without some DPS? Move aside for ALICIA Blanc. The Ice Switch herself is honestly a unit that splashed on the scene a little bit closer with MEILIN Fisher actually, but when you guys pair these two together, you can definitely see why the water was a meta that needed to be nerfed. And why I say needed to be nerfed is because a lot of content you might see right now has a water resistance. Well, this is the exact reason why, because we have two characters in the must max category. ALICIA Blanc is an insane character that does freezing infects with her core attacks. When you guys have her at a high advancement, you guys will not regret utilizing the amount of damage dealt to targets with the frozen effect, the increase of water damage, and the increase of bitter cold spear. Whenever that hits, it instantly freezes the target, guys, basically guaranteeing that anytime you use Alicia's basic skill 1 or 2, you basically will freeze the target. there is not a insaner character within the game. You guys literally need to get ALICIA Blanc. You need to max out ALICIA Blanc because an A5 ALICIA Blanc might be one of the most dangerous characters in the game. Now, for dealing with something dangerous, you might need a support unit. Let's talk about the boy MEILIN. Honestly, the survivor of Jeju Island, the MVP of Jeju Island now, but MEILIN himself, guys, is honestly a very crazy unit that you definitely want to max out. From his heal effects to his disguise effect, this unit is honestly insane, and at the advancement 5, when he uses his heavenly blessing, it increases the damage of the next ultimate skill of the team member with the highest total power by 50%. Imagine a 50% increase to, let's say, an ALICIA Blanc, to a Charlotte, to a CHOI even. Honestly, guys, that is an insane effect. And when Guild Boss first popped around, MEILIN was definitely a meta character that you definitely wanted on the field, and he's still a character you want on the field. I don't know, maybe in 2026, 2027, you might not want him on the field, but I do not see MEILIN ever leaving the S rank category. He might be a little bit towards the end of the S rank category, but right now he is a very meta unit, and he's definitely a unit you want to have in your rate up if you start playing Solo Leveling Arise from scratch. And then the last three, look at this list. Honestly, guys, just 3 insane units to talk about, but let's go ahead and talk about the chairman GUNHEE. Honestly, an insane unit that you definitely want to max out when you do get him. The chairman himself is a unit unlike any other in that the case that he honestly plays like a DPS, like a support, and like a breaker unit all in one. And when you have him at advancement 5, the utility that he has for a team, for a light team specifically, is insane, guys. His advancement 3 alone allows him to deal almighty break when he activates his ultimate. When you guys use his rotations properly, you guys will not regret dealing insane amount of break to your opponent's gauge. If there is a boss with a weak light gauge, GUNHEE helps demolish it. Each and every one of his skills does break. There isn't a single non-breaking skill on this man's kit when you guys have him maxed out. So max him out and you will see an increased return to your team. But even GUNHEE might be scared of this demon. AMAMIYA MIREI is gonna be the second strongest character in Solo Leveling Arise, this demon child. When she puts that mask on, and it's gonna be a scary sight to behold, guys. I'm not gonna lie. At advancement 5, when she is possessed, she gets the Raven's Confession effect. This will increase the basic skill damage of her basic skills 1 and 2 by 80%. Not only that, but at advancement 4, which is honestly a weird advancement to have her at, but when you guys do have her at advancement 4, it increases her wind damage by 10% for every wind member in the party, herself included. So she's always going to enter battle with an increased wind damage of 10%. But let's say you pair her with the JINCHUL, with the Hansi Mei, or any other future wind character meta units that's gonna come out, you guys will literally benefit from using AMAMIYA MIREI. And that's why she's a must max character, because think about it, there's gonna be future win units, there's gonna be future win breakers that's better than Woo, there might be future better supports than Hansi Mei, or there might be a good DPS that you could pair with AMAMIYA MIREI, meaning that the win team is just a ticking time bomb waiting to set off. And then there was one, the king himself, Thomas Andre. Thomas Andre is the strongest player in Solo Leveling Arise, and I don't even need to explain why. Watch a guide video or something of the sort, but if we do talk about it, at advancement 5, when Steel Tyrant is active, it'll increase the damage of Black Hole Crash, his next ultimate, of 125%. Something you always want. Thomas Andre is honestly a dominant character. Right now, we haven't seen too much of Thomas Andre's utility, but for the future content, for the endgame content, for the Monarch content, Thomas Andre is definitely a character you will hear echoed throughout Solo Leveling Arise. You will need this unit maxed out. You will need every character in the must max category maxed out. Make sure you pay attention to this tier list because there's none like it. And with that, what do you guys think of the tier list for 2025? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.